Hey, it's Ted Possible, and I have a question for you. What do you do when facing a big bet decision? Please write it down in the comments below, and while you're doing that, I'll tell you what I do. This happens to me most of the time on the river, so I have an acronym, fittingly enough, called RIVER. The R stands for relax, which just simply means breathe. The I means consider the impact that this is going to have on my stack. So I is impact. The V is visualize the worst and best case scenarios, specifically the worst. The E is execute, meaning to actually decide what I'm going to do. And the R is to reflect or to look back on the process thus far. Let's go in this a little bit more in depth with an example. I'm on the river facing a big bet I have to call, 2/3 of my stack. I'm thinking it's possible my hand is good. So what do? The first thing I do is I relax, or R. And how do I relax? I take deep breaths, usually 4 seconds in, 2 seconds hold, and 8 seconds exhale. Again, that's 4 or 5 seconds inhale, hold it for 2 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. This will bring your brain to a logical state where you'll be able to move on to the next step, which is to consider the impact of what's going to happen if you do call off 2/3 of my stack. If this is a tournament, that means I'll only have 1/3 of my stack. Am I deep? Can I continue playing this way? How do I see myself playing after this? And that takes me to the V part of the acronym, or visualize. So visualizing that I, best case scenario, get 2/3 of my stack in here might actually tell me, well, if this is the best case scenario and I believe I have the best hand, then I'll put it all in rather than leave 1/3 out there. If this is the worst case scenario and I am beat, then what's going to happen? I'm going to have 1/3 of my stack. This might cause me to either put it all in or to fold or whatever it may be, but I'm contemplating this in my visualization, and I'm of course planning for the worst case scenario for how I'm going to emotionally react. E means to execute. So it's to take the plan that came from the visualization step and the other steps before it and then do it. So if it's a call, a 2/3 pot on the river, 2/3 of my stack, on the river, and I call, then I know I'm only going to have 1/3. I visualized the worst case scenario, and now I'm actually making the call or folding, whatever my execution step is. And lastly, the R is to reflect. Now, this doesn't have to be done immediately after the hand. This can be done later on, but the idea here is to see how you did on the RIVE process. So did you relax? Did I consider the impact? Did I visualize? And did I execute properly? And then later on, I can, look over the hand strategy and see if my, hand strategy analysis was accurate or whatnot. So this is a process I use when facing a big bet, specifically here on the river, but pretty much anywhere I face a big bet. So the next time you're in this situation, facing a big bet, remember the river. Remember to stop and relax and breathe. Consider the impact of what it's going to do to your stack, either for the tournament or the cash game you're in. This is specific to tournaments on this channel, but you can also use it for cash games. Visualize the best case and worst case, but plan for the worst case. Execute the plan that you came up in your visualization. And lastly, reflect. Review your hand strategies, review your image strategy, review all the things that led up to this point. What this does is it allows me to make a logical decision instead of an emotional decision. A lot of the time when I'm facing a 2/3 of my stack or 1/2 or whatever, a large portion of my stack, I immediately get a little bit of angst, a little bit of tension, thinking about how this is, my worries, my fears come into my head. This is the emotional side of it. This is why you breathe and relax, to take you to a logical state so you can do all of the steps necessary to make the best decision. I hope this video has helped you. I look forward to reading your comments and what you do when facing a big bet. And as always, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and remember, everything is possible. And this is Ted Possible signing off. If I can find the button.